What's up, Conquerors? We are doing an Age of Empires 4 coaching video today for our friend Absolute No Monitor. So I talked to this player, and he actually plays Age of Empires 4 without a monitor. He has no screen, and he still beats people. So we're gonna take a look at... He's a gold 2 right now, played 22 games this season. That is his season highest. So let's see if we can give us some tips and tricks to play around with. He's been playing a lot of Mongols recently, which as a fellow Mongol enjoyer, I love. And there was a Danube River game he did. Where is it? Danube River. There is a Danube River game in his Age of Empires 4 world. And it was right before these land mega randoms. Begins Bangkok Sun 8 days ago, which would be about May 4th. Let's see if we can find this. There's something weird going on with the connection between Age of Empires 4 World and this match history, because I had this with another player where I can't find their game. I can see in Age of Empires 4 World there is a Danube River game that he played, and it is not findable here. And then there's another one 6 days ago. Let's see if we can find that one above all the mega randoms. And I don't see that one either. 6 days ago, that'd be May 6th. That's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. The game does not exist in his match history, but I can see it on Age of Empires 4 World. We're going to take one of your recent games then. We'll roll through 2 of them quickly. Maybe we can take one you lost, one you won. So let's do... You lost on Dry Arabia? We'll look at like Dry Arabia, Rocky River. Because you play Mongol on both these, and I love Mongol. And you lost against English guy. So, purple's our player who plays with no monitor, and I respect that decision. And let's see what we can do better. I'm going to just open up in God mode / catch mode. Oh, this is an awesome setup. I think you got a little indecisive there on what you wanted to do, and you wanted to protect the wood line, which is fine. But I have some advice already. Because, yep, and there you go, you build the Uvu. What we want to do immediately, as soon as we start playing Mongol, I honestly would have been tempted to throw my town center right here, but it's fine not to. Throw your town center on the wood line. Immediately have a villager go build Uvu. Khan goes out to gather sheep. And I hope you move your Gur over here later, but... Yeah, I would normally get this town center as close as possible to this wood. And then you just have the villagers chop this wood, right? Like, that's what we want. We don't want the villagers getting the trees here. We want them chopping the wood. And I'm interested to see what strategy you go for here. Because as a fellow Mongol enjoyer, you have to deposit the wood first before you go get sheep. Oh, you're going back to... Okay. A lot of movement here. A lot of movement here. I would say that, in general, we want to be a little more decisive with our villagers so they're not walking around back and forth. Same with our town center. So that we're just more efficient with our villager movements. This guy actually just lives in North America. That's why his name's NA. So if we're not going for production building in Dark Age, we should have a more normal feudal timing. You still, of course, spend resources on the uvu, but let's get those sheep. You see how this sheep's under the town center? We want to do that with all of them. Less villager walk time for our villagers. And you do a good job killing some of the sheep there, so. Let's actually see what you've explored here. Yeah, so, I mean, you're exploring fairly well. I would love for you at this point to wrap around and see what the English dude's building for his landmark. You go deer stones, which I don't know if you scouted the market position. It doesn't look like you have. Oh gosh, yes you have. The market's right here. That's I hate that. Sometimes that happens on Dry Arabia, right? So if you go deer stones, I still suggest you throwing up a market and trading a bit. You could do it from back over here, where the English guy wouldn't be looking at. But we're going to get up here and we're going to need a production building, and I'm not sure what we're doing here. So we don't need 6 guys to build a stable. Yeah, there you go, you pull them off. But again, that's some... I consider that villager idle time, right? Like, if your villagers are walking, they're not working. And we want our villagers always working, not walking. We don't want them sitting there snoozing. We don't want them walking. We want them performing their duties as a villager, which is bringing in food, wood, gold, and not stone, because you have an uvu. So you get a stable. You should go double keshiks here. And you should be scouting the English dude to see what they're doing. We want to see what units they're making and what landmark they made, because a lot of people go Abbey of the King now. So if we're scouting correctly, we're going to know that we need keshiks and archers here, which can beat this combo. Like, we can beat spearman longbow with keshik archer. Are you going for the boar? Oh, you are. It would be sweet if you had wheelbarrow before you walked that far for the boar, but I do love that you're getting the boar. Your villagers would get out of there a heck of a lot faster. I love the boar move, though. We want to shift click them onto the boar, right? We don't want to have 8 villagers snoozing when we need gold. You get a good attack here. Once you get a hit and they're going to the town center, just pull them back out. You don't want to lose a keshik to the Gatling gun town center. Did you see how much damage you're taking there? That's tough. So he gets a counter attack on you. So you just want to get out of there. It's a good hit by the keshiks back here. This is when we need to be building an archery range and making archers. Yep. No, you go barracks. You need to delete that and make an archery range. So this is big. This is real big. I'm going to be a little nitpicky on you here. Like, you're playing your heat of the game, things are going on, so you're not seeing and thinking about everything I'm saying. Our villagers are not gathering from the boar. So it took a lot of walk/idle time to get them out here. So we need to immediately start gathering this boar. And ideally get survival techniques for extra food. Like, if you look at the resources you have versus the resources he has, if you were using your resources efficiently and you had archers, like, you should have enough units to beat this guy right now with the attack he has. So a lot of the time I find myself when I play Mongol is the English guys might get units up to my base faster, but once I get my archers out and I have my keshiks, it's very easy to repel this attack. The problem is you have keshiks and you have no archers, and this guy's... You can't fight this right now. You don't have anything to fight the spearman. So if I were you right now, I really would just be trying to raid with keshiks, which is going to be hard on this English base. But until you have archers, you can't fight this. There's too many spearmen. I don't know if you're planning on going castle or what the plan is, but... But you can't get from that gold right now, right? Like, you need to... You either need an outpost. Yeah, there's an outpost. Ideally, we'd have the outpost here, though. But how are you going to get it up? Yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing, right? So, one thing we could be doing with our keshiks right now, because we're stuck in our base, is picking off... Oh gosh, that's a lot of spearmen. But we could be trying to pick off these one spearmen, one longbows that are coming out, villager. Like, if we're stuck in our base and the guy's kind of got the upper hand, we want to try to pick off reinforcements and make life difficult for him. Again, I think you have to move these gold villagers to the wood right now and get wood and build archers. I don't, like, this isn't, right now, this is not going to work. You need to pick off reinforcements and make archers. It's too many spearmen for your keshiks to fight. And he's not even building longbows anymore because he's looking at your base and saying, this guy went stable barracks, he's got no archers. I'm going to make as many spearmen as I can, and I'm going to beat this guy. And you can't get gold right now. Only other suggestion, let's say like you hate archers, you have never built archers in your life and you're not going to start doing it now. You could take these villagers to a new gold mine, which is a long ways away, but if you were set on going castle, you would have to go get gold somewhere else. But even if you hit castle, it's not going to solve the problem, right? Like, you could start making men-at-arms at that point, but you only have one barracks. You don't have enough wood to make another, so... Yeah, this is tough here. You can't send these guys, out here. It's not going to work. He actually backed off that, which was impressive. So I stand corrected. That did work. You're getting a ton of food from the boar, which I love. You had 8 guys out here earlier. I'm not sure what happened to the other 3. So, yeah, now he's got you in the siege, man. We need archer ranges. Yeah, you're... I'm gonna pick on you here about making a barracks. You're making another barracks. So here's what I would do in your position in this matchup. One, I would personally go Silver Tree, but if you go Deer Stones, that's totally fine. I would still probably make a market and trade, and the reason I say that is the English army is very, very slow. So if he's going Spearman Longbow and he's coming all the way out here, maybe even farther down to try to deny your trade, that means his base is open. You know, if he's committing a lot of units to stopping trade, you can go hit his base and wreak havoc. Or you can cut his units off and kill him at the trade. And I'm kind of going through key takeaways here of what I normally do in this matchup. Secondly, you cannot go barracks here. He doesn't have any horsemen, and this barracks is a critical mistake on your part. This needed to be an archery range, and you needed to start double producing archers, or you need to throw down a second archery range. Because you went full Keshik, and all he has to do now is make spearmen, and the game is over. The barracks was, I know you probably wanted to go castle and just double produce men-at-arms and kill him, which, don't get me wrong, I love that idea. But we have to survive the initial push, which we're not able to survive here. You got a little greedy. And now he's making you pay for it. Like, you've got Keshiks, and this is what you should have done a long time ago, was counter raid. And if you're going under the town center, ideally you need your +1, right? Like, you get a great raid in here, but you should have done this a long time ago. Interestingly enough, I feel like you could win this game still. Oh gosh. Yeah, if you focus down all the spearmen... Sorry, I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm watching non-stop action. If you focus down the spearmen, pull the villagers, kill the rams, you could still win this. You need to send the keshiks back, though. And, okay, here's one last thing. If you've been building units during this, like, we need units. We need archers, we need keshiks. You have 1,800, let's just say 2,100, 2,600. You have 3,000 resources floating. If you had been making units in your base, just archers, you could have defended against this. And the raid you got back here was one of the most devastating raids I've seen in a long time. The guy's on 13 villagers. But he's going to get your villagers out here and it's your base now. And you call GG. So I think this was a totally winnable game for you. You had it. Let's look at this graph. Look at his economy, man. You absolutely destroyed him. He just built more units than you. But look how many resources you had. You just needed to make units. Look at that food difference. Food and gold. He was stacking up some gold too. Total unit count. I mean, that Keshik raid was brutal. But he was killing you in military count. Yeah, I still think, I mean, I think you should have won that game. The critical mistake you made was you threw down a barracks when you needed to make archer ranges and make archers. So, it seemed to me, you can comment and tell me if I'm wrong, that you wanted to go fast castle, which is fine, but we have to make the units so we can survive to get to that fast castle. And again, I'd love seeing a market and a few traders in there. That would be great. Some archers to kill the spears, let your keshiks clean up the longbows, and then you can go castle and double produce men at arms and kill them. Like, you got it. That'd be a wrap for you. So let's take a look at a game you won. I don't know if I want to watch another English Mongol. Yeah. Let's see a Mongol versus HRE. See how you do here. This is a win for you. An easy win. For absolute no monitor. I don't think I've ever played Mongol on forts, so it's going to be interesting. As a fellow Mongol main, you got to work on your setup here a bit. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. I screw it up all the time. But what I like seeing, I immediately look for my wood line. And do I have a gold near the wood line? If I do, I immediately throw down town center. And I move all of my villagers to that wood to chop it right here. And then I just grab one villager and pull him off to build the uvu and then rally him back to where my sheep will be. That's how I do it. Yours is a little different. Again, we ideally want this town center right beside the gold. We're a little far away. And I'm interested to see how you deal with our HRE guy here. I'm very interested to see if you tower rush him or if you just let him go to feudal, because I love a good tower rush right here where you could hit his gold. But I don't think you're doing that because you only got 150 wood. So if our town center was a little closer right there, we wouldn't be walking back and forth from the gold mine, which is it's a decent amount of villager idle time. And I feel like I tell everyone whose video I watch is, if all of your villagers are right here gathering sheep, just move the sheep over here. You don't want your 10 villagers to have to walk over here, kill the sheep. It's kind of like needless walking time, right? Like, just move the sheep over here. You go deer stones, which is a great choice on this map because the market placement sucks for Mongol players, so Deerstone's a great choice. It's not that you couldn't trade, it would just be massively contested. So I assume you're going to go keshiks and fast castle here just based off what we just saw. So the Mongol fast castle was like a much bigger kind of in the meta before keshiks arrived. And you would basically make a few units as Mongol, maybe like tower rush, build some trade, go castle, double produce lancers. And that's what people were doing. Now, not so much. Now it's normally like a attacking Dark Age and fighting feudal, or just fighting feudal, and that's generally how I play them. So we didn't apply any pressure to this HRE guy at all. And he goes fast cast. Oh, he goes into a Burgrave. Sure, also going fast castle. So I hope we have not scouted this. I don't think. I don't know. I can see the print though on the map, so maybe you've seen that and you know that a Burgrave's coming. But I anticipate we're gonna need keshiks and crossbows here to deal with the Burgrave rush. I'm interested to see what you do. So personally, and people are going to hate me for saying this, I would have loved to have seen you just tower rush the gold in Dark Age. Just tower rush his gold. Build an outpost. Stop him from getting gold. And then if you try to move to the next gold, just have a spear out here just in case he does. And that, it's not that you stop him from going to Castle Age, it delays. It's a delaying tactic, right? He should be pushing these men-at-arms into your base right now, but he's not. And I don't know what he's waiting for. Oh, he went mine work as well. Mine work with no upgrades. Solid. Oh, so you go men-at-arms against the men-at-arms. You're like, yeah, well, you have a Burgrave, well, I can double produce men-at-arms. So take that, fool. I actually love that. I have always described Mongol as having their own Burgrave, right? Because you just double produce men-at-arms. And that can be devastating in some matchups. If he gets heavy maces, though, which I think he did, that's going to be tough for you. And I can hear the crossbows coming, which is fantastic. Looks like you're scouting to see if he's out on the map for food, which he is, and that's a good find. Ideally, you have a scout. Oh, whoa! Ideally, you have a scout out there. He's grabbing relics. If you found that he's out here, you just kind of want the con or a scout. If you build another one, just roaming the map, checking this deer, checking boar, checking berries on this side, both, so you can keep an eye and see what he's doing. But it seems like you got things since you're gonna have men-at-arms crossbows against his full men-at-arms. But it's been a bit of a passive game, and he has got a lot of men-at-arms. Oh, he went military academy with the Burgrave. Good kiting by you. Just want to keep kiting over and over. Good clean win for you right there. That's the game. Now you just push these men-at-arms in here. Oh, you should, if you kill his whole army like that and you got men-at-arms, I would dive his town center 100%. I would dive his town center with 23 men-at-arms and run in here and just wreak havoc with all of his villagers. But you can wait and get up rams or do whatever you want to do. 42-11 in military, so not close. He did grab a lot of relics, so maybe that's something you can think about when you go fast castle. Is, hey, I need to be grabbing relics. You know, ideally want to get horticulture. Ideally want to get +1 ranged armor if we're gonna fight in the base. So One thing you're missing here, which you did a good job of initially, is he's back out on these same berries. You hit these berries earlier, so you know someone is out there. And you checked over here earlier too, but you haven't rechecked, and he's moved his whole food economy out on the map. Oh, there's the outpost. Very nice. So, another thing to think about, if you were scouting and saw that his initial gold had expired, you know he's moved somewhere for gold. And since you got this taken, it's either left or on the right. Easy for me to see with God vision. You're going Rams. You're going Rams. You're taking it easy. You're like, hey, I got this in the bag. Personally, I think you're letting this guy live too long. Maybe you took pity on him after winning that fight in the middle, but you should have just dived, killed his base. You didn't even have to kill buildings. You just had to go in there with the men-at-arms, run villagers around, kill villagers. You're floating. A lot of resources here. We want to see you keep the military production high. More men-at-arms. More men-at-arms, more better. So we got your horticulture good. Oh, good hit. This is exactly what I was talking about and love to see. We want to see you hit in the flanks with raids. I wouldn't hate to see you throw down a stable and make like 2 keshiks just to run around the sides and hit villagers, so that your infantry can focus on the middle and you just have a couple keshiks on the flanks. And I assume this is kind of the battle of death. He does get Lanchinette and knights, but I think you just got so many men-at-arms and crossbows here, which is a lovely combo. I like how you handled the Burgrave with a Mongol Burgrave of your own. Here, yes. This is what I wanted you to do when you first won that big fight. Is this run through, and he should call game right now. Did he notice you were killing all his villagers? Again, he's got a lot of dudes out on. Oh my god. Oh, dude. That wolf had him. Oh, down he goes. Anyways, in all seriousness, I think that one was a well-played game by you. A couple of things I would have liked to have seen in this win. That's not the one. This is the one. Let's see. Our villager count. You're building villagers like you were supposed to. Did you start building? That must be counting your sheep. I don't remember you building traders. So military count, when you win this big fight, you could have gone in and ended the game there. It's fine that you waited to finish the game with Rams, something to bring down the buildings, but I think with the amount of men-at-arms you had, you could have run in at that time. So, was fine with what you did. Other options that you could do, if you seem like a fast caster with Mongol, which is fine. I don't hate the idea of tower rushing in Dark Age. You can just make an outpost, make a few spearmen, garrison them in the outpost. That's going to delay his fast castle. You apply a little pressure, opens it up for your fast castle. You don't have to do that. That's just how I prefer playing it. The way you played this was fine. He went Burgrave. You scouted it. You went men-at-arm crossbow. You beat his Burgrave. So, you know when you beat his Burgrave, that was kind of his timing attack. If you hold it off, like you're good to go. I thought you got a couple good raids on the flanks on the food eco. Would love to see you do that more. Like constantly have a scout popping back and forth between. Or in this case, if you don't want to do that, don't have the APM, leave 1 men-at-arm after you beat his main army, 1 men-at-arm on each one of those food sources, and then every single time he sends villagers out there, you have that 1 pesky men-at-arm that's going to attack them. So you know they're there, you know he's trying to go out of the food, and he can't go out there because you just have 1 unit out there. Third thing, I think in the win that would be important for you in the future is grabbing relics. So this guy does hit castle a little before you, but I think he ended up getting 4 relics. which you want to make sure that you get a prayer tent up, start making, and then go and grab the relics on the map. Other than that, I think you played that game pretty well. If you have any questions or thoughts on it, just leave your comments in the YouTube video. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.